Okay, so this lesson is a quick recap of the basics and then on to what we know as a filter or a low frequency or high frequency pass filter. So I'm going to right click, create an instrument and give myself a drum machine. I'm going to put a drum kit into there, so Reason Factory Sound Bank Column kits. And I'm going to pick a style of music like house and pick one of the kits for those. That will give me 16 drums. I can then make sure loop is on and make sure I'm only looping one bar. So once I've switched loop on in the bottom corner, I can make sure I'm doing that. I can draw myself a Lego block and double click in that. Zoom out like this so I can see what I'm doing slightly more. Press plus until I can see all 4 beats. Drag this up so I can see a bit more of the drums. Then do 1, 2, 3 and 4 beats. And then on the second and fourth you have your main snare. And then you might do beat and half beat for closed hi-hats. Okay, then I'm going to click on my song and I'm going to pause it while I click on that once for the whole Lego block and click copy and paste, paste, paste. And then I'm going to just have a 4-bar loop with this last bar having some sort of random change. Like that. Okay, so I've now clicked on the song. I've got a 4-bar pattern now. Okay, so on the second thing I'm just going to chuck in a tiny change just to, there you go, that'll do. Right, so now on the fourth and the second bar I've got a tiny change to make it a decent loop. Now today's lesson is about the use of low and high pass filters. To do this we're going to use the subtractor and synthesizer. This subtractor is like the first one that came out with Reason. It's kind of simpler than the Thor. The Thor is brilliant, but it's way complicated for sort of lesson 1. So what we're going to do is use these synthesizers to add a bass. So in the Reason Factory Sound Bank, I'm going to find the subtractor folder, go to bass, and I'm going to pick some sort of wobbly bass with a keyboard attached, a MIDI keyboard. I could test what that sounds like, but for now I'll just load it up and on the music. See what it sounds like. So I've now got a line here. I just need I'm going to do a 2-bar bass pattern, so make it sure it's looping on 2 bars. And then I'm going to get the arrow and double click in here. Zoom out so I can see both 2 bars. Okay, so I'm going to do something really simple. The thing about bass is to keep it simple. Right, not the best noise maybe, you might like it, you might not like it, but I'm just going to go with that for the lesson. So I've now got a little 2-bar pattern here. It plays a bit in the first bar and then plays for the whole of the second bar. Okay, so back on the rack. Today's lesson is about what frequency is. Okay, so here, let's filter. Now a filter, like a coffee filter, lets some stuff through and holds some stuff back. Okay, so a low pass filter allows the low to pass through, but keep and hides and keeps the high away. Okay, so this at the moment is allowing half up from the bass up to the treble, the high like cymbal type hisses. It's allowing halfway up on that synth. If I lower this, it actually allows less through. So now I'm saying only up to this will get through. So you can hear it's just bassy. If I go too low, it will cut out too much. And if I go too high, you'll then get the whole sound. Okay? So I can cut out that high. And you can tell the type of high I'm cutting out. It's not high on the piano, it's high in frequencies, as opposed to hiss to bass. So there's your filter for cutting out what kind of bass sound you get and how hissy it is or how purely bass it is, like a sub-bass. Now the high-pass filter does the opposite, obviously. A high-pass filter is allowing the stuff through at the top there, and I'm actually cutting out more and more bass. So now it's cutting out everything below this and just allowing the high to pass through. Now I might need more than that. So you might use a synth there where you only want the high stuff from that synth noise because you're using a sub-bass which is way below that in a different sound. So so that you don't get two basses fighting against each other, you get that back crunch sound from that synth by using a high-pass filter, while the other bass has got a better sub on it or something, and you put a low-pass filter on that so that they both sort of balance out and take half the sound each. All right? So I want you to have a play with the subtractor, and I want you to have a play with some different bass noises using the high-pass and the low-pass filters here. Just to finish with, this is called resonance, and it's a booster for the choice you've made. If that's a low pass filter, it will really kind of boost what choice you've made. Okay? And I think that will do for low pass and high pass filters. Have a play with the sounds.